tuning in to Kickspot with Jinu Park and Migs.
And we're back here at the Kickspot. Man, we did an intro video just a couple days ago. Got some great responses from people. Excited that we are going to come back.
That felt natural.
Yeah, it did. It did feel natural. It's like we haven't really left what we were doing, but obviously new studio that we're working in. And
tell them where the studio is, Jinu Park.
No, we can't tell them yet. Because we got to keep it on the DL right now because people be rolling up, if you know what I mean.
Okay, all right.
No, but obviously a lot nicer setup and everything as well too. And we're gonna start testing out lighting and all that in the time of day. So it'll be interesting to see
how we grow progress this year.
Exactly. But it's 2025 now.
Yes.
Right. A lot of things happened in 2024. I know we both been really, really busy with a lot of stuff. But I want to talk about you. We got.
Oh my gosh.
One day I get a message saying, "Hey, I got this Crescendo thing going on," and wearing some Crescendo gear. So I'm curious to ask you what you've been working on. What is Crescendo for people that don't know already?
Yeah, so since we've been on hiatus for a minute, I did start a clothing brand last year. It's called Crescendo, and if people don't know what the word means, it's a music term. It means a gradual increase of intensity. So the whole kind of purpose of the brand is to amplify someone's individualism, get to your higher self. If when you wear my brand, a lot of quotes, a lot of nostalgia, R&B focus a lot, so anything that's kind of just inspires me, I wanted to put it out there. That's pretty much kind of what the brand is about. Obviously it's still growing. I'm in my year one, February this year will be exactly 1 year from my first full collection. So excited for that. A lot of things coming out. But yeah, man, thanks for bringing that up. I appreciate it. Obviously, this guy gets hooked up all the time. Is
that what it is?
That's what it is.
Is that the perk?
But he did purchase some. So let's just be real.
Yeah. No, I got to see the growth, and I'm still seeing the growth. So I'm excited to see where you end up and obviously the future of Crescendo. I know we've talked about how you want to branch out and do a lot of different things as well too. So we'll do a different episode
we'll do that
on Crescendo because I've got a lot more questions to obviously ask.
Yeah, but not just about me. What you been up to last year? Give us one thing, Jinu Park, from last year, that you explored or that you did.
There's a lot of stuff, and I think, like I said, from future episodes we'll be able to talk a little bit more about that. But I think the biggest thing is just I've been on a hiatus as well too, just working on myself and working on, financially, just trying to grow as well too.
You did buy a house.
Bought a home just recently as well too, and it's just a lot of positive things going my way because of self-focus and all that. And
it is.
Yeah, I think we'll talk a little bit more about that too, like I said in future episodes. But yeah, let's get into it. 2024 has been just an absolute crazy event aside from what we've been doing.
Yeah, I just, pop culture, international stuff, just the world. Kind of wanted to give a couple of takes on a couple of current events that happened last year, along with some pop culture stuff. This is going to be a pretty short kind of introductory episode to kind of also just kind of get us back on track.
For sure.
Get our feet wet again. But yeah, Jinu Park, did you want to start with the first thing since you really wanted to talk about this?
No, I didn't want to really talk about it. This is obviously politics has always been a pretty, sensitive subject to a lot of people.
Yeah, for sure.
But obviously, as we know, soon to be, and again, President Donald Trump, or former President Trump,
yes sir,
ends up becoming the president against Kamala Harris. Pretty interesting what happened with the whole, President Joe Biden running, and then all of a sudden,
or removing himself from
had to remove himself. So the electoral votes 226 for Kamala Harris and 312 for Donald Trump. I'm curious to ask you if let's say Kamala Harris had started from the beginning, do you think the numbers change?
I mean, probably. Probably. I mean, I don't really follow politics that heavily, but just I think from what I just kind of have observed and like what I know that I've kind of educated myself on just with how everything kind of played out. If she did, I mean, I truly believe if she did run prior to President Biden kind of backing out, I think she would have had a better chance to really market and like build a little bit more, relationships out there. Probably campaign a lot harder than like, hey, I'm backing out. We got Kamala in, But I mean, the support that that's what I'm saying. The support that she got to be that close to winning, right? Imagine if this happened a little bit sooner. I mean, the results probably would be different. I don't know, but I also felt like, America just needed really a change, based on President Biden's time in office. So I don't know. That's a tough one. Like I was ready for, for a female president and see what that could turn out. I think that's historical. I think America always has been it leads the charge when it comes to being pioneers with a lot of stuff, especially politically. So I don't know. Like that's a very interesting question to present, especially at 12:40 in the afternoon.
Yeah. The inauguration is coming up on the 20th of January. A few key things, which is interesting, is that companies like Meta, Amazon have invested at least $1 million and contributed to the inauguration. Statistically, those two big companies choose a Democratic president, and they chose to invest into Trump's inauguration. Why do you think that is?
I don't know. Why do I think that is? I mean, probably a financial reason, economic reason, right? I mean, from, again, I'm just speaking, for myself. Ever since Trump got reelected, I mean, the economy just boosted, right? GDP increases, like talks about, AI and regulations on crypto, like these things, he really has a huge hand on, right? So Meta and Amazon are two companies that will be leading quantum technology and AI in the next 5 to 10 years. I think Amazon is trying to take some stuff when it comes to technology with NVIDIA from, what I read and from what I hear, stuff that I watch on TV. So I think that in itself has a reason why they did what they did. But again, it's just like such a broad topic that, there's a lot of input that could be put in that. But I think for me, that's, I think that's where my mindset's at.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think it's more of a political play. It's not the fact that they.
Do you think it's to help position them in case they? Okay, that's
exactly. Okay. I think in a lot of those companies, they already know who the next president is, and I think for somebody like Trump, he will make your life miserable if he doesn't like you in that sense. And so, why not just join somebody that could technically support you, because you have a fleet of people that employees wise that you have to take care of. Right?
So if you can't beat them, join them.
You can't beat them, you join them. And so I think I have a lot of friends that work at Amazon and Meta, and also some of the friends that are hugely left mindseted people asking why they work for a company that ended up contributing to a Republican. And that would be my simple answer too, is if you think about it, why not just join them so that it makes your life a lot easier? Otherwise, he could try to get rid of you as much as possible as well, too. So
maybe he's changed. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, politics in general is corrupt. Another politics thing that came up. The South Korean president declares martial law.
Yeah, I am not up to date with that.
Yeah, It was interesting because I had a lot of friends reach out to me and say, "Hey, what's going on in South Korea?"
Yeah, I almost texted you about it. I go, "Yo, you've had like 3 presidents in like 3 weeks, bro."
Man, I was born in America, and I am an American, and you're asking me a general question on what.
Because you're prideful, right? Like you have Korean pride. You know,
I think even a lot of my Korean friends were confused on what was going on.
Oh, okay.
But I just know within Korean politics in general in the past, there were a lot of people, a lot of presidents that were corrupted by bigger companies. You know, the female president that was there prior was also impeached as well because she was doing some inside stuff with these. They call them chaebols, which is like more like the rich families. And so the rich families end up, you know, giving politicians or them investing money into like different businesses. And I think for her, she had a friend that opened up a nonprofit that she was connected to. And I think Samsung or some of these other companies were putting money in there. And so I think that's kind of statistically gone down in history as if you're a chaebol family, you pretty much run Korean politics in general. You know, there's also another case where another president, Samsung invested a lot of money into another president, and the CEO of the company technically was supposed to go to jail or something like that. And what ended up happening was the new president that came in said, "Hey, unfortunately, we don't want to put him in jail because if he basically does something to Samsung is our economy. And so if we put him in jail, then we can't do much with our economy anymore." So he ended up avoiding jail time to you know, obviously just to support Korea and all that stuff. So politics in general, pretty crazy, but you know, let's not talk politics. Let's switch gears here.
Yeah, let's switch a little bit of gears.
What else has been going on in 2024?
Little lighter side of the world. Cool thing that happened last year was the explosion of women's sports. Yes. I think that's something that like we could definitely talk about, you know, and I think we should have a full episode on this. But, you know, to kind of segue into this topic, I mean, I'm not talking about just WNBA and Caitlin Clark and, you know, NCAA college basketball for women's. I mean, yes, I think for me as an avid basketball and sports fanatic, I saw the growth of women's sport just catapult to new heights, you know, and it wasn't like, it was more like so natural the way it happened because finally people were seeing like how skilled like these, you know, women athletes are, you know, like, let me give you guys a couple of like facts. Hold on. You know, like I was researching like what type of numbers did women's sports bring in 2024, you know, and this is. Let
me ask you a question. Have you ever been to a WNBA game before?
Yes, I have.
Okay.
Yeah. This year, me and Michelle actually went to a Sparks game.
So do you think, did you go because of all the hype? With
I mean, a part of the reason, yes, you know, so, but you see what that did, right? Yeah. Like, but I've always watched WNBA, you know, like, and it's funny because like some of the boys are like, why are you watching that? Like, I just love competitive sports regardless, right? Like, so, but this year I was so happy to see the growth of the WNBA, like LPGA, you know, like, oh, F1, like F1 racing. I'm going to put it out there. You know, we have a Filipina like that won as an F1 racer.
Wow.
Bianca Bustamante.
Wow.
And so the first ever Filipino that, you know, kind of tear it up in that scene. I mean, that made me proud, right? And F1 racing is something that is just like, you can't even think a Filipino would do it. But to add to that, a female and to win it.
So you heard that. Asian women can drive, okay? So hey, just throw that out there.
Hey, that she proved it.
Yeah, she did. You
know, she proved it. Maybe not right here in Lake Forest, but you know. Yeah. But I mean, so I kind of wanted to give you guys some insights, like industry numbers wise. You know, this is coming from Women's Sports Alliance. Viewership was up. It says here surpassing the previous high of 22 million during the same period in 2023. A record of 22.6 million watched 3 or more minutes of women's sports between January and May of last year. That's crazy. And the Guinness Women's 6 Nation's title decider in April drew 1.3 million viewers with a peak of 1.9 million on BBC One. And then sport sponsorship investment also grew for women athletes. Brands are increasingly recognizing the value of aligning with women's sports. The LPGA led all women's sports properties with an impressive 1,100 sponsorship deals in 2023/2024, marking a 25% increase from the previous year. You know, and then social media dominance. I mean, all over social media, you got Caitlin Clark, you got, you know, women's soccer, LPGA. So like I was seeing them on my feed a lot, right? Especially WNBA, maybe because I'm a big basketball fan. And then attendance records also got smashed. You know, I think the Indiana Fever, every home game was sold out. And viewership, every time Caitlin Clark played on a road game, also went up, right? So, and then it says here the financial milestones. Women's elite surpassed a major milestone in 2024, generating over $1 billion for the first time in history. That's crazy.
Yeah,
the impact is just nuts. And I think that's just the start, to be honest.
Yeah,
you know.
I think that they were at a loss for a long time. Did they ever end up breaking even?
Wait, are you talking about who's at a loss?
WNBA.
I think so. I mean, I would have to pull up the stats, but yes, I think they were. Yeah,
I don't think they are still profitable yet.
Yeah, not yet, but I mean they're getting it. I mean that's why the players are getting paid the way they're getting paid, right?
Yeah.
So, and I think also a huge part of what the NBA was trying to do the past couple of years is, you know, advocating for that sport, right? Like getting the guys to come into the games, right? And, you know, and brand deals with them. You know, I mean, Nike just signed Aja Wilson, right? To like one of the biggest, you know, female sponsorship contracts like ever. You know,
she the MVP?
She's an MVP. You know, she plays for Las Vegas, right? So yeah, I mean, things are up and up when it comes to women's sports, and I love to see it.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, I'm glad to see it too. I'm not gonna lie, I haven't gone to a WNBA game, but I have watched basically just Caitlin Clark whenever she was playing on TV and stuff. Just the way that she shoots. I mean, it's just very interesting to see. She won against Steph Curry during the 3-point contest. She did an incredible job as well too. And I've always thought back in the day, even when I played basketball in school, that women were better shooters than men. That was just an old school model, just because back in the day it was more of like a post up game and that kind of stuff. Whereas I felt like when I was growing up, the women were shooting a lot more. And definitely, I mean, I've lost to a few women in my life, you know, with shooting. I'm not the best shooter, but at the end of the day, I was also more trying to do the Gary Payton post up type of stuff as well too.
Let's not talk about
yeah. But I'm glad to see it. I'm glad to definitely see that WNBA is.
And again, I think it's just gonna, you know, it's gonna be a bigger platform.
Yeah, obviously it's gonna be bigger. They expanded. They announced that the Bay Area is gonna get a team.
Correct.
And then there's 2 other expansion teams. I think Toronto and Portland will get a team.
Oh, I didn't even know Portland, but I saw Toronto's like new logo too.
Yeah. So Portland, I think, is also going to get a team the same time as Toronto as well too. 26, which is pretty exciting to see that. Yeah. Bring the Sonics back though. NBA, bring the Sonics back. Get Vegas and get the Sonics back.
Yeah.
Sports wise, you know, obviously Super Bowl's coming up as well too, which is exciting this year.
Yes.
And you told me that there was a Kendrick song that came out. What is this Kendrick song that you're talking about?
Have you been like hiding on a rock? Like, fam, one of the biggest beef in pop culture and rap happened last year.
Sure, I know about the beef.
Okay, so
I know about
what are we talking about?
But what is the song that you're talking about? Because you said it just came out yesterday.
A Drake song.
Oh, a Drake song.
Not a Kendrick song. Okay. But let's not talk about that. Let's talk about the beef, though. Like, let's talk about... That was one of the biggest pop culture thing that happened last year. You know, pop culture and rap and hip-hop, right? So, I mean, we're from the West Coast, right? Like Kendrick kind of just took over everything, like from the radio, streaming, like the biggest album, GNX #1. I mean, voted #1 album in a lot of platforms, you know, for last year. You know, it all started with the whole Metro Boomin, you know, song, right? And then J. Cole backs out, and then Drake responds. Kendrick responds with the biggest song of the year, Not Like Us. You know, I mean, everybody was singing it, you know, at the club. I mean, people be losing friends over it. So, but yeah, no, that was I think that was great, just for music and hip hop, right? And like just for us as fans, like we wanted something like that. We've been waiting for something like that to happen. So I thought it was great. What did you think?
I didn't know in the beginning if it was staged.
What?
Bad press is good press whenever there's things that people are beefing over certain things. I mean, I think the one person that probably did it one of the best, not talking about, you know, hip hop or anything like that, is Jake Paul. Beefs with everybody, but at the end of the day, it was all him making a lot of money or whatever. He's done a lot for boxing, I must say. Put a lot of light into it. But in the beginning, when I was you know, I saw the Drake and Kendrick beef. Yeah, I thought maybe it was fake.
Yeah, I think in that sense, I could see why you would think it was like that. I think so. I just don't think you understand the history of Drake and Kendrick's subliminal hits to one another in songs from previous years. So I think what I'm going to do, Jinu Park, is I'm going to send you a lengthy YouTube video that shares the entire history of their subliminal attacks to one another, okay? So you can have a better understanding of how we got to today, you know? And I think you'll appreciate the beef more, and I think it'll be a little bit more entertaining for you. So yeah, I mean, again, I think that was really cool to see. As of today, it has died down a lot. However, like what, you know, I wanted to address what you brought up in, you know, a little bit earlier, was Drake just dropped a freestyle on YouTube yesterday, and he took a couple of shots, and one of the shots that he dropped was for LeBron James, supposedly, talking about the watch that he gave him, and, you know, like, oh, how, you know, you thought that someone was your brother, but, you know, you're not. You know, sometimes you call me checking up for my son, but that's not really how you feel about me. We're not really brothers like that. So, ouch. Obviously, like, you know, Drake's probably gonna be coming with a lot of subliminals this year, you know, but we'll see. I think at this point, you know, J. Cole dropped kind of like a song that addressed, hey man, like, let's, you know, just do you know, to Drake, just do you know, and everything will work itself out type of song. But I think we need a little bit more of this, to be honest.
Any other lines that stuck out or anything like that? Was that the main?
You're talking about from the Drake song?
Yeah.
I think, I mean, it was kind of just like he's sharing his sentiments about, like, you know, I thought people were on my side, but not really. I got to be careful, you know. And then one in particular, like, kind of bar was about how, you know, to a lot of people, it was a shot at LeBron. You know, he was talking about the watch that he gave him. You know, so, and I'm like, well, he did give him that type of watch. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you had another, I guess, feud, which was, and I can't even really call it a feud, MGK and Eminem as well, too, back in the day. And I thought that was kind of weak, to be honest. I didn't think that you could really go against Eminem or anything like that. I thought that was just kind of a play up to become famous and stuff like that, even more than what you are. But
for sure,
that's the reason why. But I think Drake is a little bit scared because he did sue the streaming platforms
UMG,
as well too.
Universal.
Yeah, as well too, to say that a lot of his streams, Kendrick's streams, were fake, and so I
don't think it's a lawsuit. I think it's a petition. I think.
It's a petition, but I think they came out with the fact that they weren't fake. They weren't fake. So
yeah,
it's kind of like
they made a statement. Spotify made a statement for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. UMG made a statement that saying that, like, that is false. Like we didn't work with Kendrick to like, you know, put us like songs above everyone else, you know.
Yeah, and Kendrick is gonna be in the Super Bowl this year. I was a little scared though because he's part of Rock Nation, and the whole controversy with
part of Rock.
He's part of Rock, and the whole controversy with the whole Diddy thing, and Jay-Z. Almost, we're not 100% sure what's going on with that whole situation and everything as well too, and the fact that he's part of, and you know, obviously Rock Nation is the one that does all the entertainment for the Super Bowl. I don't know if you knew that.
Yeah, I mean, I know they've had a partnership. Jay-Z and Roger has had a partnership.
Yeah, and so I mean, for the past few Super Bowls, Rock Nation has played a heavy part in the entertainment halftime show, and so. I mean, I guess we'll see in a few months or a month and a half or something like that to see what happens. But I think it'll still go. But I think there's going to be a huge bomb at the end of the month here. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with allegations.
We'll see. I'm excited. I mean, Kendrick finally headlining, even though he was kind of there, you know, when the Rams won the Super Bowl. Yeah, Rams. I don't know about your Seattle Seahawks, though, you know.
Oh, Lord.
But anyways, you didn't even make the playoffs. So, but yeah, excited for that. But let's talk about like our final topic. I love Netflix shows. So the fact that like we've been waiting for Squid Game season 2,
Squid Game.
I almost like, okay, how is this gonna be? But like me and Michelle, we watched it like literally in like a whole day. Yeah, you know. Yeah, because I could not just stop watching it.
Yeah, so stats wise, Squid Game won 265 million views, most watched series, right?
That was like first week or just total?
Just total, total for Squid Games, and then the first one, the sequel, 68 million views, highest premiere viewership for Netflix.
Okay. I was like,
the record before was Wednesday. Wednesday, which was 50 million.
Man, they views, killed right? that then.
So they did. But just to put in comparison, the Jake Paul and Mike Tyson fight was 65 million. Okay, and I think that's a crucial statistic to kind of look at, only because that fight was Netflix's first go at sports, live sports. Okay. You know, you had Max and some of these other companies already do live sports. And so this was kind of their first run. So 65 million for that fight. And then Squid Games 2, 68 million. So exceeds the numbers there. But pretty crazy. I think it was like 6 or 7 episodes. You have a few new games.
7 episodes.
What was your overall thought, season 2?
Started slow, but I think once you got to the games, you know, I think I'm talking about the main character. I think he had a goal, right, to end this game and wanted to save as much people as possible, when it literally like was the total opposite. You know, he couldn't save like not even his best friend that, you know, was at the game, right? So, and then for it to get that close, and you couldn't smell that your enemy was literally like right next to you. Yeah. You know, because you were so focused on like what the end, I get it. You're so focused on like what your end goal is of like saving as many people, but you literally sacrifice more people. And I think the nemesis are saying this is exactly why, you know, this is exactly why your thought process is wrong. And like, this is exactly why I wanted. Well, that was crazy to me too. Like, he was playing the game with him. Yeah. You know? Like, what were you
I'm hoping that a lot of our viewers have already watched Squid Game, so we don't ruin it. I read somewhere that the director was so stressed out because in season 1, the director didn't really make a lot of money, even though it was a #1 show on Netflix, and based on Netflix's agreement with a lot of these outside, you know, directing or production companies, they don't pay that much until a show becomes really big. And so this is kind of his way to make a little bit more money this time because of the hype. But I was told that he lost a bunch of his teeth because he was so stressed out and grinding his teeth so much.
So much?
He had to get new teeth, which is
wild.
Yeah, pretty crazy. Some of the games
Talk about the games.
were they games that you've seen before? Do you understand the games?
Yeah, so like that, we had that in the Philippines too. So the top game, actually, I was telling Michelle, I was like, babe, like I want to get myself a top now because I used to do that as a kid, you know? So that was cool to see because there's really a correlation of like how these like as Asians, as we were, you know, when we were growing up, like we were playing those games as kids. So it was cool to like relive those, right? I was so happy to see a couple of the games. Oh man, I used to play that. You know, I used to play that, right?
So there's this one. So I don't really know the Korean names of some of these games. Some of them I've seen for the first time. There's one where you get the rock and then you throw it at like another rock, right?
I've never seen that game before.
I was told in the Philippines there is a game similar to that.
We have a marble game.
So the throwing thing, I don't know if this is made up, but Filipinos would get a can and then use their chanclas.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
I was told that was an actual game.
That was an actual game.
And so when I watched that,
any of my cousin that knows about the game, let me know what that is.
Yeah, so when I saw the rock thing, I was like, "Oh, this is kind of similar to like in Guam they were doing some of this stuff. They're supposed to do with chanclas, and then just hitting it to the can. Very similar. Okay. In nature, so you have the kongi thing, which is very similar.
Yeah.
And then like kind of like the top spin thing. Do you guys have?
Yeah, so we would buy it at like one of the sari stores or like. When we go to provinces, like literally like a top, there's a nail and it's a wooden top and you have a string and then you tie the string onto the top and you just like release it. And then the game, so some of the games is a little bit more violent. So let's say if I'm playing against you and you have your top, right? My goal is to like hit your top, like on like.
Oh, that's the goal.
So we'll put it on a circle, right? We'll draw a circle on the street and then like you have to be within that circle. And then whoever the next player is, you try to get them out of that circle for like a point. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So you got to kind of hit kind of like a battle.
Yeah.
That's interesting because I didn't know in Korea if they did something similar to that or if it was just, hey, that was the goal to spin it. How well do you think you would have done in that relay?
The top, I would have killed it. Was it called the kongi?
Kongi.
Like I probably would have taken me a couple times, but like.
Well, you only get 5 minutes. Sorry for the viewers. You only get 5 minutes for the entire thing.
No, I know, but I think I would have gotten it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're confident in the spin?
Yes. I definitely would have probably picked the top. Like if I was like, no, I'm gonna do the top. Like, okay, I'll do that one. You know.
So you would have picked the top, and then the rock throwing thing. You think you'd be fine with that one?
I'll be fine with that one.
And then the takchi.
Like, yeah.
Fine. Okay, so you're saying that you could probably do all four?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Gotcha. And then the kick.
That I sucked at.
You suck at that?
I sucked at that. So, yeah, I sucked at that.
Oh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. We used to do it in like a lead. So we'd pick up like a plastic. We'd tie that. So we'd put a hole in like a lead, and then we'd put a plastic, and that's what we would use.
Okay. Well, the next episode, ironically enough, Migs,
I don't even know what it is.
I actually bought those things. So
no, you didn't.
With
bro.
your confidence, it's actually arriving next week.
Oh, bro, you set me up.
And so you all heard it, right? We have this recorded, and you're so confident. No. You're so confident that our next episode is a Squid Games episode, and we will be trying out those games and seeing how well Migs does. Maybe we'll put a few things on the line as well too. Maybe some drinks on the line as well.
If you have the top, we can't do it here.
No, we're going to be doing it outside. It's going to be a different location as well, too, with some of those things.
That'd be wild.
We'll probably start off here and then...
I ain't practice, Ryan.
Nope, no practice. They didn't get no practice at Squid Games.
Oh, bro,
and you know what happens after 5 minutes. So I may not have a co-host anymore. So, but man, on that note, man, it was great having you obviously back, and I think vice versa, right?
I guess. You forced me to do this.
No, I did hit you up and I told you, hey, I want to go back into doing it now that I'm a little bit more free and we got the studio and everything as well too all set up. And so I'm excited. And like we mentioned just in an introduction video, if there's any topics or anything you guys want us to talk about, if there is, if you want to be a guest as well too, come hit us up 100%. And let us know so we can, you know, talk about you and all your guys.
Talk about you.
Yeah. Talk about you. All right. So on that note, we out.
Thank you for listening to Kickspot.